Good morning and welcome into Wolo and Friends. It is hard to believe, but we are already in October. It is October 2nd today. Hard to believe that we're already here. Postseason baseball is in full motion right now. We had a lot of good games last night, starting with the Guardians and the Tigers last night. The Tigers made it good, forced a Game 3 last night. Guardians had some early struggles in their game. Second baseman Brian Rocchio had a nasty dive early in the game where it looked like he might have been hurt for a second there, but he made a decision to stay in the game, and it was a really good thing because later on in the game, in the eighth inning, he got the fireworks going for this team where he had a great hit. Chase DeLauder out in the outfield, center field, had his first big league game, and what a better game to start with than Game 2 of this wild card series here. Battling the sun early in the game, he had a dropped fly ball, but he made up for it in the sixth with a trotting catch out in the outfield. So he looked really good. Seemed like he had a lot of support, had a lot of fans out there rooting him on. So he had a really good game. Tanner Bybee pitched really well in this game. In 4 innings, he had himself 6 strikeouts, and the Tigers' pitching was not as spectacular as when they had Tariq Skubal in. Javier Baez had an RBI single, which would be the Tigers' only run in this game. Sorry, I think I started this whole thing by saying that the Cubs might have won, but the Tigers won, but it was the Cubs that made a good comeback here. Guardians. I'm completely mixed up. It's
all good, dog. No worries.
Guardians versus the Tigers. The Cubs played. They got shut out by the Padres. But for this Guardians and Tigers game, it was the Guardians that had an incredible game. It wasn't until the bottom of the 8th inning where Cleveland finally put this game to rest, starting with Brian Rocchio, followed up by Daniel Schneeman's RBI double that capped off with a Bo Naylor 3-run home run to take the game, take Game 2 and force a Game 3 that will be in Wrigley Field. 6-1. The Guardians take that game. Padres and Cubs, I would say of the 4 games that we got yesterday, this was the least exciting of the few. Because,
okay, good. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, okay. It was all Padres. It was Padres from the get-go. Jackson Merrill got things rolling with a sacrifice fly to right field that sent Fernando Tatis home in the first. Daniel Cease and that amazing mustache had 5 strikeouts in that game. I don't know if you saw him, but that mustache, jealous. I mean, that's about as that you got the rivalry of John Harden's beard, and then you got Daniel Cease's mustache. I mean, I think
I can get down with that.
Yeah, I think that those go kind of go hand in hand there. But he did really good, and we didn't get another score in that game until the 5th inning with Manny Machado taking his first pitch deep to left field with a 2-run home run, and Mason Miller, pitcher, hit the record books in this game by throwing a 104.5 mile per hour fastball, which is the fastest recorded pitch in the postseason for Major League Baseball. Mason Miller himself also had 5 strikeouts in that game, and the Padres also hit a shallow ball to left field that was good enough to allow the runner to score to get Aaron securely on first, making the game now 3-2 in favor of the Yankees. But Trevor Story once again would come up with a solo home run to tie up the game in just his 2nd career postseason home run to date. Then we had some very exciting defensive plays. Zach Kelly gets a much-needed strikeout to retire the 6th. Jazz Chisholm made a remarkable save at second to prevent the Red Sox from scoring with the bases loaded.
Who stupidly didn't start, but I digress. Aaron Boone.
Well, Jazz still had himself a heck of a game. Here. And with the bases loaded in the 7th, Trevor Story hits a fly to midfield where Grisham trailed it down and to send it to the bottom of the 7th, and then turned around in the top of the 8th. Pitcher Devin Williams made a great heads-up play to turn 2 that would eventually lead to the end of that inning. But it was at the bottom of the 8th that the play that would seal the game was Austin Wells hit right down the right baseline to send Jazz Chisholm home, and Aaron Judge in the right field would make the final catch of the game to send the Red Sox, Yankees, off to a Game 3. But of all the games and of all the series, there's only one that ended in a clean sweep, and that was the Dodgers over the Reds.
That was expected.
Yeah, I think it was. And for me personally, because the Reds got the spot in place of the Mets. Of course, the Mets shot themselves in the foot.
The Reds they didn't disappoint, though. They gave a good effort. I'm not going to say valiant,
but
they said a good effort.
It was a good game. They tried to mount a comeback late in the game. They actually started off striking first. It was Kike Hernandez who got things started with a great catch in left field, but the Reds would strike with Sal Stewart getting a 2-run single in the first. And then from then on until I believe it was the 8th inning, it was all Dodgers.
Shout out to Kike. He lost a moment when the bases were loaded and he popped out. So it felt Kike-ish right then. I thought he was gonna do the daggum thing, but he didn't. But I guess he's saving his postseason heroics for later on.
I guess so. But Dodgers take that game. Shohei Ohtani looked really good, as always. And real quickly, we're about to talk with the TV voice of the Grizzlies. That is Pete Pranica. But before we do that, we have our Thursday night football game tonight. Is the 49ers and the Rams. The Rams are heavily favored in this game, and it's easy to see why. 49ers are
they the 49ers?
They still have the title, I guess. They still have the title of San Francisco 49ers. They still wear the logo. You guys have your rivalry jerseys that you're going to break out at some point. I'm just trying to give you some positives here, Darian. But it is declared that Brock Purdy, Juwan Jennings, and Ricky Pearsall are all out for this game. So my good friend and producer,
along with Ayuk, along with Bosa,
in
addition to,
but you still have Christian McCaffrey and you still have Mac Jones. So I ask you, Darian,
and Brian Robinson Jr. Don't forget him.
He's there too with a stellar 20 yards.
And Kittle's out. We forgot about Kittle's out too.
Kittle's been out. He's only played one game. I think he has one catch this year. The 49ers look like they're falling apart.
Tonight will be the San Francisco 39ers. I'll just go. We'll subtract 10.
Okay, yeah. That's fair. But do you think that Mac Jones looked good in his first start when Brock Purdy was first out last week? Brock Purdy's 3 interceptions in that game led to their loss against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which, let's take a moment and pause and say, who would have thunk that the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts would be the top 2 dogs in the AFC South right now? Granted, I'm a Titans fan, so it's really rough for me out there. I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what we're doing. There's a lot of troubles here, but unfortunately, none of the guests we'll talk to today have any answers for the Tennessee Titans and the problems to fix there. But this should be a really, really good game. I think Kyron Williams, a lot of people are high on him in this Rams offense. I think so far to this point, he's yet to eclipse a 100-yard game. A lot of people think he has the potential to do that tonight. He has 303 yards total and a TD. A lot of bets are on him.
Pretty good backup. Blake Corum behind him. But to your point, what you were asking me before we get to Pete, McVay has our number a lot. A lot. He has a lot of people's number. He's a great coach, and us being shorthanded is definitely not going to help. So, not sure of the outcome. Things happen, Things happen. The Carolina Panthers put a goose egg up on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Things happen, but I don't expect it.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Is there anything can happen in this league right now? The point spread, I believe, right now is at 7.5. Matt Stafford looks timeless. Puka and Devontae. Devontae's a touchdown machine. Puka's a receiving machine. They all look really, really good. So. For my money, I'm guessing you want to go with the Rams. I'm not the betting guy. Stick around for Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. He'll tell you all the bets. He'll give you everything you need to know on what to bet, who to bet, how to bet, all those kind of things. I'm not your guy for that. That's all him. But right now, we are going to go over and we are talking to the TV voice of the Grizzlies. That is Pete Pranica, our friend who joins us every single Thursday. Pete, happy to have you here. And I hear that you are currently in Nashville for Grizzlies camp. What all are you seeing up there, and what's standing out to you with Tomas Isolo leading into his first full season with the Grizzlies?
No, good morning. Yes, I am here in Nashville. I am sitting in Nashville, which is a fantastic delicatessen. Just had a lovely breakfast with Pete Weber, the radio voice of the Nashville Predators, and his lovely wife, Claudia. So we're just wrapping up breakfast here. But as far as practice goes, it's been very, very competitive. Tuomas has been pleased with the effort level from everybody, so it's off to a good start. I'll be there today, and we'll be reporting for Grind City Media, and you can see Mike Wallace and me in our report a little bit later on social media. Team will practice probably about noon today, so sometime after 2 o'clock we should be able to do some interviews and chat to some folks and get some insight.
That sounds really, really exciting. Of course, I don't know if Darian even knows this, but I would say breakfast is probably my favorite meal of the day. So that's always good to have a good breakfast to start the day. Also, really exciting about being there at Grizzlies camp, and everything's looking good. Tomas being pleased with all of those kind of things. Our big hype, I would say, right now for the Grizzlies is our first draft pick in Cedric Coward from Media Days. It seems like there's a lot of hype around him now that he's back from injury, and given last year and the impact that our 2-star rookies in Zach Edey and Jalen Wells made to the team. What do you expect to see from Cedric as a rookie coming into this season?
Well, I expect Cedric to be part of the rotation because he's a high IQ basketball player. He's got tremendous physical gifts. And I go back to Media Day and the media availability with General Manager Zach Kleiman. And when somebody brought up Cedric, Zach cracked a smile. I mean, they really, really believe in this kid. He is a wonderful and engaging personality, but they are looking for him to be a physical presence, and particularly with so many bigs being down at the start of the season, Tuomas Isilo singled out Cedric as being a guy that is going to have to do a lot of rebounding, and he's going to have a physical presence about him, because if you're not going to have Zach Edey and you're not going to have Brandon Clark, you're going to need to have somebody else that can go get the basketball off the backboard, and Cedric, I think, is a guy that can do that. And also in talking with Tuomas, this strikes me as being very much a read and react type of offense. Mm-hmm. So you need high basketball IQ guys, and I think Cedric certainly qualifies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, speaking of Zach Kleiman, he also went on record saying that getting Jock Landale was a high priority for this team. Given the reports of the injuries that we're reading about early for the season with Zach Edey, Jaren Jackson Jr., how significant will Jock's role be for this team in light of these injuries and attributing to early success for the Grizzlies?
I think in the short term, he's going to be very, very important. And one of the things that I had not realized until I talked to Jock is that he has a history with Tuomas Isilo. They were on competing teams in Europe. He's very familiar with the system that Tuomas wants to run. He understands that setting screens is his greatest strength, and that he's going to be called upon to do a lot of it. And the thing with Jock at the NBA level, he's been a role player and he's been further on down the bench, but physically, certainly he has the size. I think he has the basketball intelligence to be very productive. So is he Zach Edey? No, but I think that he will be a very effective screener. And the other thing I'm picking up from this training camp is that you will see more ball screens from the Grizzlies this year, and Jock Landale is going to fit that bill. Loved having Jay Huff, but Jay Huff and Jock Landale are two very different players, and I think Landale will certainly better fit the Isilo system.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, too, with the reports not too long ago about Brandon Clark being out, I think having this big man down there is definitely going to help our team out a lot. Yesterday on the Twitter, you tweeted out that Tuomas Isilo stated that his defense this year should be an unpleasant experience for the opposing teams. Would you care to dig in a little bit more and tell us how Tuomas is going to be leading his guys toward developing this new standard of defensive play?
I think it's all about effort and just making things as difficult as you possibly can. A word that you're going to hear a lot from Tuomas is being disruptive. Mm-hmm. The hope is that this would be a high deflection team, a team that contests a great number of jump shots and basically makes life very difficult. It echoes things that when Lionel Hollins was the head coach. Look, we want you to not want to play at FedEx Forum because it's going to be a really, really rough night. And it builds on the Grizzlies tradition that you talk to former players like or guys who have played against the Grizzlies with other teams like Ty Jerome. He says, the Memphis has a great crowd. They've got a great building, but, man, they can be really, really tough to play against. And that's a tradition certainly that you want to embrace because you've got to be a good defensive team, particularly if you want to run. You have to force turnovers. You have to get deflections. That will allow you to play faster. If you're taking the ball out of the basket all the time, it's hard to play fast break basketball, which is what Tuomas wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely, and that sounds really, really promising and really, really good. And I think you hit the nail with the hammer on the head. That's effort is definitely going to be a big thing. My good friend, my producer Darren, bringing him in, he's got a question for you as well.
Hey, Pete, I want to talk about the residuals of Desmond. Speaking of KCP and Mr. Wells, so could you tell us? Well, first of all, KCP, we know he didn't have the best shooting year last year. So how does he look? And health-wise, how does Jalen Wells look? I know during summer ball, he looked pretty good, but how does he look right now physically?
Jalen Wells looks fantastic. There isn't a more grounded individual on the team than Jalen Wells. He has even been a mentor to Gigi Jackson, even though Gigi's been in the league a year longer, a couple years longer actually. So, no, I think Jalen is fine. He's going to really embody that defensive toughness that the Grizzlies are looking for. As far as Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he didn't shoot it real well in Orlando, but I think this is a great fit for him. For me, Darren, his biggest attribute is that he is a veteran leader. He has played with two of the greatest players in the planet, with Nikola Jokic and LeBron James. He's won championships with both of those guys. So I think that he is going to buy into the system. He's going to bring some veteran leadership, and there's nothing but good things that can come from that.
I'm glad you brought up GG, because I think a lot of people, myself included, thought GG would have a bigger and more major of a role on this team last year, but he struggled to find a lot of consistent playing time on the court. Going forward, what role do you see GG really playing in this lineup?
Well, the wing group is very, very crowded right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really going to have to separate yourself with your on-court performance. I talked to a number of the players on media day, and when I asked them who is your choice for breakout player this year, or who's prepared to take the next step in a positive fashion, they all said Gigi Jackson. There's no denying the physical gifts. There's no denying what he can do with his length and with his physical ability. But Gigi even admitted to me in our conversation on Monday that he got frustrated. He wasn't in a good headspace, and he had such a good rookie season. The sophomore season was truncated because of injury. He's in a real good place right now, and I think he gets his mind right and produces on court. I think he is primed to have a really big year because, like Jaren Jackson Jr., different position, he can be a matchup nightmare. And if he can produce on court, he's going to be on the court. It's going to be that simple. And I think that's true for any of the wings because you have to bring Vince Williams Jr. into that conversation as well. So it's going to be about on-court production. That will earn you court time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Is there anybody else on this team that you can see filling in that a void maybe that the Grizzlies have, or taking on that bigger role to help contribute to major success this season?
I'm really intrigued with Ty Jerome. I had a chance to hear him yesterday in media availability. This is a high IQ basketball player. He's been in all different types of situations, was with a great Cleveland team last year. But people might forget that Ty Jerome was on that Oklahoma City team that the Grizzlies beat down. So he's been through tanking seasons. He's been through seasons with championship aspirations. He's a UVA guy, so you know that he's smart, and spoke about, I think, the system for Tuomas Isilo, as I referred to earlier, it's going to be a lot of read and react and, kind of let the game come to you and manipulate the game in kind of a free-flowing fashion rather than it being overly structured.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big name for the Grizzlies is Ja, and I think almost everybody in Memphis would agree that this is kind of Ja's team. And heading into this season, I know in the past the biggest struggle that we've had with Ja is the amount of games that he plays each and every single year. It seems that he's always struggling to be on the court. He's missing a lot of games, and I think that really does impact the success that the Grizzlies have. What do you expect to see from Ja this year, and how big of a role does he need to play in this new offense that Tuomas is implementing for this Grizzlies team?
Well, my barometer is 65 games because that's the barometer for league awards. I think if Ja plays 65 games, Jaren plays 65 games, this is a team that can compete for a top 6 seed. Failing that, then it becomes a whole lot more difficult. One of the things that Ja had talked about, particularly on media day, is learning his body. I asked him about, when do you decide I want to really attack the rim and maybe take a hard fall if somebody undercuts me, or do I want to make maybe a simpler play that's lower risk? And that's going to be part of it. A big part of the reason why John missed so many games last year, it wasn't because of anything that he did. It was what other players did to him. Mm-hmm. The Daniel Tice hard screen, the undercut by Lou Dort. Those are things that you really have no control over. So I believe that he is primed to have a big season, and he's probably going to have to think about, okay, what type of plays do I want to make, and how much do I put my body at risk, knowing how important he is to this basketball team?
Well, Pete, it's hard to believe that, one, we're already in October, and that, two, on October 6th, this Monday, that the Grizzlies will be playing our first preseason game against the Detroit Pistons. How fired up are you about this game, and what do you expect to see from the Grizzlies coming out in this first preseason game?
I'm really looking forward to it. I think the greatest, I don't want to say question mark, but I think the most intrigue surrounds Cedric Howard. This franchise is so totally sold on him, and he seems like in all our conversations he's a fantastic guy. But look, he's only played a handful of college games last year due to injury, didn't play in Summer League. So I think unwrapping that is going to be the thing that I am most excited about, and also to see the continued development of G.G. Jackson. And I think Ty Jerome can be a huge piece for this basketball team. So, just off the top of my head, those are three of the things that I'm most excited about.
Yeah, it should be a very exciting season. One more thing for you, Pete. This is a kind of an interesting one, but Zach Edey, I'm sure you saw, he has his Tom Lee Park tattoo. Have you been able to see this in person? I mean, what do you make of this thing? Because I've seen it. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I did notice it on his right forearm on media day, and I didn't get a chance to ask him about it, but I think it speaks to wanting to be here, wanting to be part of the community, and really buying into what the Grizzlies have as a franchise and as a basketball team. So I was gratified to see him put that piece of Memphis identity on his skin.
Yeah, because that's not something that's easily removed. That's fairly permanent, and I think that like you said, that kind of speaks to the want to be here, the buy-in to this Grizzlies team, and it seems like we'll have Zach Edey for a long time. Well, Pete, thank you so much for joining us today, man. You've got me excited about the Grizzlies. I'm looking forward to the games coming up next week, and you have a good one, my friend.
All right, thanks for having me.
That is our man, the TV voice of the Grizzlies, Pete Pranica. Darian, what are you most excited about with this Grizzlies team going forward this year?
For me, it's Jalen Wells. I was watching the game. I believe maybe I was there. I think I was there at the game that he got hurt when he went up to the rim for the dunk and fell off. I've seen what's his name? Paul George, run into the back stand. I just absolutely thought the worst. So for this to be less than a year for recovery, I'm extremely happy for him. So that's why I was really worried about his health. I think he's also ready to step into the role. I wanted to ask Pete, but I didn't want to prolong it. I'm sorry. As far as the shots available from Desmond Bane, Desmond leaves about 17 to 25 shots a night. It's Jalen Wells. He spoke on it defensively, but offensively, I mean, hell, he's our best shooter, right? I mean, if not one or two, because Luke is gone, right? Yeah, Luke is not on the team anymore, right? Yeah. So I would say Jalen Wells is pretty much our best shooter with Desmond's departure. So is he ready for those shots? Maybe last year he may have gotten 10, 12 shots a game. That's going to go up exponentially. It should anyway, because he's my clear-cut. When I'm on the wing, if it's not Ja, I think I kind of want the ball in his hands. Others may say KCP for his experience, but all of my chips are in on Jalen Wells. He showed me enough that I think Cowherd's growth is extra. My guy is Wills. That's the star that I believe will blossom on the team. So
yeah, and I think it was good to hear from Pete himself, who's at Grizzlies camp right now, saying that Jalen looks great, that he looks healthy, he looks strong, he looks like he's going to go out there and be a big player. Because, like we were talking about with Cedric, I think expectations are high for him because of the rookie power that we had last year with Zach Edey and Jalen Wells.
But don't you want to temper those? Isn't it kind of unfair? I'm one of those people that do not believe he's a Kobe Bryant and Kawhi Leonard.
No, look, those are
mixed together.
Those are so far down the road. You got to prove yourself.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, not to take this to golf, but it's kind of the same extreme of Scottie Scheffler compared to Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods has years upon years of experience over Scottie Scheffler. Scheffler's still got a long way to go to even be remotely in the same category as Tiger Woods right now. But we're getting a little bit of Johnny in us. We're getting a little late for a break here. But when we return, on the other side, we're going to be talking to Bill Bender of the Sporting News. There's a big weekend of college football last week. A lot of stuff happened in the Big Ten. A lot of stuff happened in the SEC. We're going to talk it all with Bill Bender.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com. To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back into Wolo and Friends. I am not the voice of the Tigers. I am Landon. I'm with my good friend Darian Newsom. We've been talking about the Grizzlies, but now we're switching gears. We're talking about college football, and man, what a weekend we had last week. A lot of big news in the Big Ten. But Bill, the Big Ten game of the week was the battle of the top tens in Oregon, traveling to Penn State in their whiteout game and coming away with a big win. What did you see in that game, and what were your big takeaways from Oregon's big win?
Well, I know the easy takeaway is James Franklin can't win the big game.
Yeah.
And he confronted that afterward, and I thought in a very classy manner, given the circumstances for which that game ended. Tough loss for Penn State. I can't – I know you're in basketball country down there, too. I'm just trying to think of a school that just can't get over the hump. And it feels like a little bit like Purdue before they got to the title game. It just tough loss and all that, but you got to give Oregon credit. You got to give Dante more credit, especially to go back-to-back touchdowns in overtime. Really showed what that was all about. And by the way, that environment is second to none. Whiteouts, everybody should do it. It's a bucket list item. It was awesome.
Yeah, it definitely looked exciting. I mean, all the theme songs, everything about that stadium and that atmosphere, it's gotta be up there as one of the best places to play college football. But despite all of that, Oregon still goes in, plays a phenomenal game against a really good Penn State team. And I'm glad you mentioned that about James Franklin, because he has been a good coach with Penn State. But as you said, his big struggles come in the big games. Last year, he had a different loss to Oregon. He had a loss to Ohio State earlier in that season, came up short in the Orange Bowl against Notre Dame. James Franklin, as I know you've mentioned before, is now 4-21 against top 10 teams. Is James Franklin in any kind of way on any kind of hot seat, and what does he need to do to win that big game?
Well, that's the thing. If you want to put him on the hot seat, fine, but who are you going to get? Like, who are you getting? And this is the issue, is like, it's that little baby step to elite that they can't take. I wouldn't move on from them. Now, as far as what do they need to do, I mean, that's an even tougher answer, because I left that game thinking, he didn't do anything wrong. You know, you could nitpick the 39, punting from the 39-yard line, right? But it was 4th and 9. Landon, what do you think we're going to do if they run like a pass play, gets picked off, and then Oregon goes down and scores? We're going to criticize him either way. So he's just in that no man's land of always getting criticized. And the Indiana game is going to be the one that really tilts this one way or the other. I don't think they'll beat Ohio State no matter what, but they've got to beat Indiana.
Yeah, and I know that was one thing that I was going to get to, is that the Nittany Lions have those two major chances to kind of redeem themselves later in the year. They have that trip to Ohio State on November 1st, and then the exact following week they host Indiana, and this Indiana team looks absolutely, I mean, they still look good because they looked good last year, but they look like a different animal this year. Do you think Penn State can get it done, and what are you seeing with this Indiana team that's making them so much more dominant this year as compared to last year?
Well, just another year in the system. I think it's that simple. You're more continuity, and now I know you got a different quarterback, and I understand all that, but I just think that the continuity is matter. And you know, Kurt Cignetti, really good coach. I've underestimated him at every turn, and all he does is continue to win. So last week, for those that, or if some of your listeners had Indiana minus 6.5, they might not be happy, but
very true.
A crazy ending. But good football team, and really looking forward to seeing what they do when they go to Oregon here in 2 weeks, or next week. It's already next week already.
Yeah, and I was telling our other guests, it's hard to believe that we're already in October and that we're already this far into the college football season where we are right now. Still speaking on Penn State, Drew Allar coming into that game against Oregon, he's been doing fairly good. In each of the games, he's had over 200 yards passing with a couple of throwing TDs, and of course, the competition in those first 3 games leading up to Oregon was not exactly the best. You had Nevada, Florida International, and then Villanova. But his QB rating, I think, is what a lot of people are focusing on. Right now, it's sitting at an average of 48.4, which is 88th in the league right now. What do you think is attributing to this low rating, and where does Drew Allar need to improve to help this Penn State team going forward?
I know QBR is a thing. I don't know how to calculate it. I would have to, Google it, right?
Yeah,
so that's one metric. Yeah, as James Franklin said after the game, he does have an excellent TD to INT ratio. I do know how to calculate that. It's how many touchdowns and how many interceptions.
Right.
Interception in the wrong moment. And I feel for Drew Allar. I think he's a really good kid. I've seen him in these top 10 games and just how he responds. And I've seen this floated around a little bit, and I might co-sign this, that I don't know how he fits in this offense with Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator. Maybe that's part of it. Drew Allar's got the old school NFL quarterback, big arm, decent mobility. He has some good runs, but it's not clicking for him in this offense. And I thought they played well in the comeback, but again, it's just that fine line to take that baby step to elite.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think what a lot of people saw with Drew Allar in those first 3 games is that it seemed like he was still kind of finding his place, getting settled in with his offense. But in that Oregon game, I know he started off kind of slow in the first half, but in the second half, it seemed like he really hit his stride. And like you mentioned, that costly interception at the end of the game definitely sealed it away. But I mean, I think Drew is still playing very good. I mean, he was with this good Penn State team last year. I mean, he's still doing very well. So I think you're right. I think there's a lot of different factors, but it just seems, especially after a loss like the one he suffered against Oregon, that he's still got some growing to do. He's still got he still has multiple chances to still prove himself as a top dog in the Big Ten and in the country of college football. Switching over to the SEC, there's been a lot of talk about this LSU team. They started off the year with a great win over Clemson, but as each week goes passing, it seems like that Clemson victory is a little bit less and less significant. There's been some injury concerns with Garrett Nussmeier. What are your takeaways, and what do you make of this LSU team so far in this season?
The offense struggling. Caden Durham injured. There's a lot of talk of whether, and that certainly reminds me of Quinn Ewers last year. You know how Quinn Ewers was injured and then he was back, and then we find out at the end of the season he's injured, and I'm like, well, what are the injury reports for then? What are we doing? Just a stop and start offense, and it hasn't married well with a struggling defense right now. So I think that's something to watch with LSU as they get into the grind of a very tough SEC schedule. I kind of sketched out what I think these SEC teams are going to do this year, the rest of the year, wins and losses, and might be tough for LSU to get to 9 or 10 wins, and I think it's going to take 10 to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I know you've posed this question in an article that you wrote on September 28th, I believe. And it's a question that I've actually posed to a few people around the station here, and that is there a possibility that we could have a 3-loss SEC team, and what are the implications, if we do have that, for the college football playoff?
Well, I mean, I think you could have a 3-loss SEC champion. It's not impossible, and they're going to beat each other up. You look at the landscape now, and the thing that I keep making the comparison, it's a little bit like the NFL because we're changing our mind every week, and I'm doing it. It's like 3 weeks ago, I was like, oh, nobody's going to beat that LSU defense, and now it's, well, Alabama's back, and 2 weeks ago we were trying to fire Kalen DeBoer. So it's very interesting, and if that happens, we're going to get into this conversation of, okay, does the SEC matter more than the ACC and the Big 12?
Well, as our SEC slogan goes, it just means more here. So I guess it does mean that much. One more thing for you, Bill, before we have to let you go here is Sam Pittman is now out at Arkansas. What did you make of this firing? And I know that you've released that Ryan Silverfield would be a great replacement for that. Could you go into a little bit about this firing and what would make Ryan Silverfield a great addition to this team?
I don't think you guys want that. I think you want to keep Ryan around as long as you can. And that's a compliment to Ryan that he's done such a nice job. At Arkansas, they're going to have to do things a little differently. And I say that, like, you can't just line up like Alabama and Georgia does and bully people, right? You're going to have to creative offense and have some of those things. And Arkansas fans saw that firsthand. And if you can't get a guy like Rhett Lashley, who has connections to the program, obviously played there, if you can't get Dan Mullen, who I think is doing a nice job at UNLV, you've got to go for a guy like Silverfield. I know Memphis' head coaches make that jump to the next level, obviously. Mike's having some tremendous success despite last week's loss. I just look, the one thing working in Ryan Silverfield's favor, he's proven himself.
Yeah.
It's not a one-year wonder now. Like, you've got a successful, sustainable program that is absolutely in this college football playoff hunt. So, definitely say good things about Ryan Silverfield. And for you guys' sake, I hope he does stick around because he does a great job.
Yeah, I hope so too, and I think you nailed it. I think consistency is always something that you want to strive for, and always something that you want, especially in this crazy college football world. But Ryan Silverfield would definitely be good, and I think he's definitely primed to take that next step. As Memphis fans around here, we don't want to see him go, but hey, if greener pastures present themselves, I think he would definitely at least have to consider it. Well, Bill, thank you so much for joining us today. You be well. Next week, Dave will be out, so you'll be on with me again. You have a good one, my friend.
Hey, we'll be just great. Thank you so much for having me on. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, see you then. That is our good friend Bill Bender with the Sporting News. Go check him out there. He's usually releasing an article. He's got some great stuff in there. Stats, reviews from the games. He's given his picks, his predictions for the college football playoff. He's doing all that kind of stuff on the Sporting News. But on the other side, we're going to talk with our own, very own Hall of Famer and Jarvis Greer, talking about the Memphis Tigers and all the things that are going around in Memphis. Stick around. You're listening to Wolo and Friends.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
The next time you are having a business meeting and you get to choose the restaurant, here's an idea. Choose Sunrise. Sunrise on Jefferson and Sunrise East on Poplar are the perfect locations for a relaxed conversation about work issues. Going to some chain restaurant where it's too loud and the servers aren't focused completely on giving you and your coworkers perfect service is just going to make a meeting more complicated. But if you meet at either Sunrise location, you can rely on a comfortable atmosphere with terrific service and, as an added bonus, great food served fresh and fast.
Listen up, Rebel fans. Your next winning drive starts at Landers Ford in Collierville. Their game plan is simple. Find you the most savings possible. Make a trade, lower your payments, or let them buy your vehicle even if you don't buy from them. That's how you keep moving the chains. Just like the Grove on game day. Fans all across the Mid-South keep coming back to the #1 Ford dealership in Greater Memphis. See them today in Collierville or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. When you own a Landers Ford, you get the support of a certified service tech with the Landers Ford Remote Service Experience Program. They pick it up, drop it off, or fix it on the spot, so you're never left watching from the sidelines. To finish the drive, the iconic Landers Easy Pass always brings more for your trade and the biggest discounts to put you in victory formation. And now, straight from the 1977 Ole Miss football team that took down #1 ranked Notre Dame, the final snap of the day from Landers Ford President Don Kitchens.
If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2024 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report in Memphis Market.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos. And enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
Kevin Kugler here from Westwood One. Join me and Ross Tucker for Thursday Night Football this week when Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers head south to face the Rams in Los Angeles. San Francisco at 3-1 is coming off their first loss of the season, while a win moved Matthew Stafford and the Rams to 3-1. Which will pick up a big NFC West Division win? Find out on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 25 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shields Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 or in Mississippi.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Well, we talked to our Hall of Famer, Jarvis Greer. Jarvis, Memphis football has been on an incredible roll this year, and we continued that with a win over Florida Atlantic last week. What did you make of that game, and what were your big takeaways from Memphis's big win over Florida Atlantic?
Well, put up a number, which is getting everybody's attention. That was the one thing, with putting a double nickel on the Owls down there. 55 points. All right, that'll get some folks that, picked for the CFP, college football playoff, and the polls and all that stuff. Oh, wow, that's kind of a drubbing. Well, it was a little bit closer than that until the fourth quarter, and they rolled off like 31 points in the fourth, but it never really seemed like the game was in doubt. Memphis figured them out. Their run and shoot offense, basically what it was, is just drop back and throw it. It's like 7-on-7. And if anybody's familiar with that, it's just quarterback, wide receivers, running back out of the backfield. And they throw it so quickly it's hard to defend. They're going to make some catches and they're going to make some yards. The thing is, you got to keep them out of the end zone. The Tigers, as they've done pretty much all year, in the second half, they basically shut people down. And then the offense takes off in that running game. I mean, that's like 290-plus yards in the last two games.
Yeah.
And that is the identity. You can run the football. Run. Teams that run usually are teams that win. Even in this day and age of throwing the ball over the place, all over everywhere, if you can run, you can win.
Absolutely.
And that's what the Tigers are doing so far, and I'm all for it. It looks pretty good.
It most certainly does. And Jarvis, I don't think you understand how happy you made me by mentioning the run and shoot, because my team is Hawaii, and we are known for the run and shoot offense.
Run and shoot, that's
run
correct.
And shoot. I mean, hey, it works.
Is Timmy Chang the head coach there?
Yes, he sure is.
Yeah.
Yes,
he's a product of that. He was a product of that.
Absolutely, he was. Yeah.
And that's, you usually run that offense when you don't have the hogs up front. You got to have the hogs up front that can open those running lanes. And I'm going to tell you, the Tigers are big up front.
We are.
They might be not be the most biggest team, but they are big enough. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And the backs are quick. They get there quickly. And plus, the main thing is you got a quarterback that can run the ball.
Yes.
And run it effectively now. So that's like the extra attacker in soccer. It's hard to game plan for. You try to game plan for it, but when a play breaks down, or you're trying to get him back, and when he's dropping back the pass, or they have called runs for him, it just adds another dimension to the offense.
It certainly does, and I think you nailed it too. Is when we do go to that passing game and that quick strike ability that we have. I mean, that's really what you need to get that offense rolling. I mean, our most dominant form of play on this team by far is our run attack, and I don't think anybody's slowing that down anytime soon. But also with this Memphis offensive attack, we have our wide receiver transfer Cortez Braham, who is now has back-to-back 100 yards game and is really establishing himself as wide receiver number one. What have you made of Cortez so far?
Well, he came in late because they're trying to get his transfer papers and all that stuff together. But, boy, when it did, he had about a week of practice to figure out actually being on the field. But, he had the advantage of being the teammate of Brenda Lewis at Nevada last year. So those two had a chance to click together, and they've done really well. And you could tell a lot of times that he's the go-to guy, because Brendan looks for him on some of those third down situations. That may try to change because teams know that now. The book is out on Memphis, but you got to stop it. You keep doing it until they can stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hawkins has done well catching the ball. He's got more of the deep balls, and then both Greg DeWosier and I call him Woozy and Sutton Smith are really good at catching the ball out of the backfield. So they got people all over the place that can catch. And Christian Ross at the tight end spot came in, as a freshman. He's like 3 years now, fourth-year player. He's bided his time. He's gotten bigger in the weight room. He's learned the position. He's become more reliable. consistent at catching the football. It's all about catching the football now. Since Fuente came in here, that's the first time that the Tigers had a consistent quarterback that could get the throw out there and consistent receivers who would actually catch the ball. So you want not a lot of groans in the he's open. Oh, he dropped the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got people that can catch the ball now all over the place. They got speed, and that's speed kills.
Yes.
It's done that to the tune of a 5-0 record so far for Memphis, and that's more wins to come. I do believe, as they keep on this trail, and they're all unselfish. They all know. I think Greg DeWosier said, "When one eats, everybody eats." So they know that, hey, man, they're all for each other to do it. There's no jealousy in the backfield or in the wide receiver room. They all want to get the job done because they know the better that they do, the team does, the better they all do. And that's the best attitude you can have.
I absolutely agree with that. This week, Memphis returns back home to face Tulsa, who is coming off of a 31-14 loss against our conference rival in Tulane. What do you expect to see from this game coming up this Saturday night?
Well, I did watch the Oklahoma State game that Tulsa played. They beat Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State. That's
big upset.
The first time they've done that in 60 years or something other like that.
Been a long time.
And yes, granted, Oklahoma State is not very good this year. They got coach got fired and all that business, but long time coach, by the way, Gundy. But they have a strong running game, and they are big up front. They've been in the Liberty Bowl a couple of times here in the past 20 years. So, they're even though they're the smallest school in the conference, I only think they got like 3,000 students. They have a really good football tradition, and every now and then they peek their head up above water and come and bring it. Have a legitimate team. They got a strong running game. Their two defensive ends are just incredible. One has 5.5 sacks, and the other one has 4.5 sacks. Wow. Which is like in tops in the nation.
Yeah.
But the rest of them don't really do too much on defense. Well, they were good enough to beat Oklahoma State in that game, but 19-12. Their field goal kicker's really good. And, he actually kicked here for 1 year. And now he's at Tulsa. But and the quarterback, we could see another quarterback who was the starter going in. He got a concussion. And the quarterback that's played the last couple of games is a freshman, but has looked really good in his time on the field. So it's going to be a battle, and it's a mental game now. Every game you win, the next game becomes that much bigger.
Yeah.
As far as for what the Tigers want to do. They're undefeated. They want to keep that undefeated record going. They've won 9 straight now, which is the longest winning streak in the nation. They've scored 20 or more points in 45 straight games. That is by far the longest streak in the nation. The defense is very opportunistic. It's causing turnovers in 21 of the last 25, 22 of the last 25 games, and multiple turnovers in many of those games. So if they keep that up, you want to say that's a Memphis win, but you never count them before they happen. You can't do that because, like we said, Tulsa they got shellacked pretty good against Tulane, but that game was fairly close until they got into the fourth quarter. So this is a team that can run with you. They'll definitely run the football, and they can stay with you. It's whether the Tigers' depth that they can, eventually just beat them down and then take over as the game goes along.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very exciting game for us. And man, that rushing attack, I think, it's going to continue to be a powerhouse, and I don't think anybody's going to stop it anytime soon. Jarvis, I know you were at the Grizzlies Media Days. Tell us what all stood out to you. Yeah. What were your big takeaways from being there?
Cedric Howard is the rookie, their top draft pick, very professorial. I can see why. Yeah. I think he would be on the dean's list at Duke. And then what the other players have said about him is, he sounds like a coach. He knows everything. As far as what he can do, what the team expects of him, the offense, the defense. But the thing is, the other players have said, when we asked them about Cedric Howard, they said, this guy, he's 6'5" or so, but he's got a 7'2" wingspan and huge hands. And that's kind of Oklahoma City like. Oklahoma City's defenders they talk about their defense is really tough to get around them because it's not that they're all tall, but they got such length, and they use that length to their advantage. It's hard to get off a good clean shot. It's hard to get around them on the dribble. He moves his feet well. He's got the clean bill of health, so he's ready to go. So it'll be very interesting to see what he looks like. Ty Jerome said he had a couple of offers to go other places, but decided to come here because John Morant's here, and he's going to get some good looks, And he's played with some good ones, Donovan Mitchell and company up there in Cleveland. But the thing I like about him is the fact that he is, he's kind of like the replacement for the three-point shooter that we had last year.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not just a one-trick pony. He can put the ball on the floor, get to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots the mid-range, and he can distribute. So, you got another ball handler out there. So I think, and one other thing, Gigi Jackson, who is my favorite. I think a lot of people like Gigi. They want to say, Gigi, come on now, bro. We need you. We need to get on out here now. He knows that this is, even though he's still just 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's only 20. He won't be 21 until December. So he is the youngest player on the team and would have been, even if this is his third year, he would have been one of the youngest players in this last draft class. He knows, though, that this is his third season now, that it's kind of like a make-or-break year for him. He's got to be consistent, on offense. He's got to be consistent defensively, step that area up. You can't pout, and just come out and just play. And he has all the tools physically, as we know, at about 6'9", about 225 or so, can run the floor. He can score at all three levels. He can finish with authority. Every now and then he makes like these spectacular defensive plays, but they want him to just be consistent. We'll definitely take the spectacular, but if you just be consistent on defense and don't get your head down when things go sideways, don't get your head down. He's a young pup, and that's what you get when you got young people who their talent is so good that everything they do has been great, and now they get kind of humbled when they get to this level.
Yeah.
So, and he knows it now. I mean, he has expressed that. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, we absolutely will. Well, Jarvis, you've got me excited about the Grizzlies. I know it's hard to believe that we're already in October, that the Grizzlies are going to have their first preseason game this Monday against the Detroit Pistons. It's going to be an exciting time. I'm excited for the Grizzlies, but Jarvis, once again, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Hey, man, and get out to the game Saturday night. Now, 7 o'clock kickoff.
Oh, yeah.
We had a big crowd for the Arkansas game. Needs to be the same for every game. The Tigers are playing. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis is on the field. You want to get there and see it. You'll be entertained by this team because they get after it, and they got, with Brendan Lewis and the two running backs, they can get after it.
Yeah.
And Cortez Bryant. They'll put some points up, and it should be a fun game.
Yeah, we have a very exciting offense, and absolutely, everybody get out there. Let's support our Tigers. Go Tigers, goes. Well, Jarvis, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That is our man, Jarvis. Stick around. We talked about him before. He is the man. He is happy hour. Johnny Radio is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. And as always, my friends, it's going to be a good day.